You just wish that one day your dream is that you're going to be out there playing for them.
Funnily enough, my teacher from my junior school said that when I was a real tiny tot, I used to run around doing commentaries on the football game in the playground at lunchtime.
I think you'll find a lot of schoolboy and a lot of football people still, you know, and the love of the game never diminishes. Sometimes it's put to test, but I don't think it ever diminishes. And now we've got young boys here who have outstanding ability, and every morning we go out to train them, and I enjoy watching.
What people don't seem to realise, the game isn't easy. Even if you've got ability, I mean, you can hear these young lads training in the background here, and I keep trying to impress on them that every time they go to a game, everybody in that crowd would want to be in their position. You know, having the opportunity, they've not done it yet, but they've got the opportunity to become players for Leeds United, to become Premiership players. And that's a great opportunity to have nowadays.
Bradford City was my father's team. I think most people when they support football clubs, they catch it from friends or from parents.
My uncle used to come, so he dragged me into Midland Road, where it was freezing every Saturday, and I've just gone from there.
Born in Bolton, raised in Bolton, taken my pal to watch Bolton Wanderers, and been drawn ever since.
I don't know, once you've been brought up, you know, going to a club as such, like I was in Bolton, you know, they're not the best team in the world, but you go back to your own club, don't you? Well, the majority of us do anyway.
Bradford Park Avenue. Always have done, always will do. I don't think you ever lose an affinity for a club from boyhood. Strangely, this ground here is the ground on which I saw my first ever game of professional football. Valley Parade, Bradford. My father brought me to the Spy and Cop at that end, which was open in those days, and it was Bradford City against York City. I think it was 1953. It was 1-0 to Bradford City. A fella called Eddie Carr scored the only goal. And then I think it was the following week, two of the friends, I was only a young lad, but they invited me to go to Bradford Park Avenue, and it was an evening match as opposed to a Saturday afternoon game, and Bradford beat Accrington Stanley, there's another great name from the past, 4-0, and I stood behind the goal and I felt to be a part of that match, and I just felt so much at home on that ground, which sadly is no longer there, and they became my club. And people often say to me, which is your club, thinking it's Leeds United or Sheffield Wednesday, and I can honestly say that my club is Bradford Park Avenue, and I still go and see them when I can. And at the end of last season I saw them twice in a week. They won a league match to win promotion, and they won the cup in their particular league, and that gave me more pleasure, a bigger thrill, because I'd never seen them win anything for 40 years or whatever. That gave me more pleasure than covering a World Cup final.
The game itself, I mean, to me and to a lot of people, it's just like a drug. You know, it's just something you don't want to stop, and you can't really stop. You know, it's fascinating from that point of view. I mean, my wife, she doesn't particularly like the game, but she can understand why I like the game, but it doesn't make her like the game. I mean, I think it's just one of the things, you either like it or you loathe it, and if you like it, you love it with a passion, and if you loathe it, you tend to really hate it, because what it does, it takes the people you love away from you. You know, I think that's the big thing, and it's always a big bone of contention in households that. One of the players who were at the club, was at the club when I first came here, was Bobby Collins. I mean, I used to watch Bobby when I was a young lad playing with Celtic. Now, I think Bobby's 65 now, and he still turns out for the ex-Leeds United players. I mean, I think the game's got that magnetism, and it just attracts you back there. I don't think I'll be playing when I'm 65. You know, I keep saying that to Bobby, you must be daft. But, no, it just goes to show, you know, what the game does to you. And that's why people go and watch the game.
Well, it's the buzz, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing like it. I remember running out down that tunnel when there's 40,000 on, and you know, and the majority of them are your people, or even going to places like Old Trafford and the dreaded place, or Anfield. You know, it's just the buzz, isn't it? probably people who take drugs should to be weaned off drugs should come to a football ground and be put into a white shirt and say run down that tunnel. You wouldn't need any drugs after that.
In one word, deafening. The atmosphere was brilliant. There was, I don't know, 35,000 people there. And they're all just willing you to win.
People often ask you about goals you score, but it's funny enough, it's something I never really thought about, and I thought about how well I played in certain games. I mean, to me, just playing the game every week was an enjoyment, and it was something you look forward to. I mean, I scored the 2 goals against Burnley that everybody talk about, but funny enough, the first goal I scored that day gave me more satisfaction than the second one. Everybody seems to talk about the second goal, but it was the first goal that gave me most satisfaction because it was something that I had to do rather quickly and make my mind up quickly. And to me that was the best goal, from my point of view. I can understand how other people would have preferred the second goal, but that was something that I could always do, and it just came naturally to me. So to me that wasn't that something to think about too much.
Scored 1 goal. Came on against Middlesbrough, came on a sub and pulled it back to 3-3. And I think I did a number of laps around the pitch and kissed everyone and went crazy generally.
How did it feel? Was it good?
Yeah. I'd been waiting for, I think, about 1.5 years to score this goal for Leeds. So when it came, I didn't know what to do.
A game of soccer is like the game of life. You've got to have the right colours on, you've got to be playing for the right side, and the whole object of the game is to win.
It's a pretty amazing experience, actually. And you come out and you're full of it, and you want to talk about it and carry on talking about it. And it takes you ages to either come down if you've won, or adjust yourself back to being non-suicidal if you haven't won. It takes a long time to sort of unwind from it.
Football is a way of life, not just for football players, but for football fans. Football affects people in so many different ways. If your team's doing well, everybody in the town's supporting your team. If the team's doing bad, nobody cares about your team. Supporters who go week in, week out care more than anything else. Get upset, it affects their weekend, it affects their days at work, it affects their life, it affects their home lives, it affects how they treat their wives, how they treat their children. And that, unfortunately, is the sad side of the game.
Football's a worldwide thing. I mean, there were many of us who sat down and watched Holland play the Republic of Ireland last week and couldn't do anything but marvel at the style and the skill of the Dutch. Now, because I liked it didn't necessarily meant I was a Dutch fan. I just liked the good football that they played. And yes, I mean, people do have allegiances to specific teams, but I mean, the first love is of football. The second love is of a specific team. Some people can easily make can easily differentiate between the two. Some find it a lot less easy. It's Bradford this, Bradford that. Bradford can do no wrong. I mean, I've had Bradford fans ring me up after we've been beat 4-0, saying, "Don't worry about it, we'll win next week." And that's the most dire performance we've seen in months. Now, at the end of the day, that's devotion above and beyond the call of duty or reason. Very simply, people are football fans first and foremost, club fans secondly.
In football, all the emotions come out, don't they? With the highs and lows of both. We've been relegated, we've been promoted, we've been to Wembley 4 times. Absolutely incredible. One can't describe the sort of feelings that come out. And in one game, you have all the emotions: the highs, the lows, the success, the failure, and that's what football's about.
I just love it, City, really, and supporting your local team and that. I don't agree with people following glory and what have you. Just turn up in cold every week, and sooner or later we're going to get a bit of success. Fingers crossed.
Is it that keeps you going? The thought that one day?
Yeah, certainly. Why not? I mean, you can go anywhere for glory. If it's glory hereafter, you can just follow league champions every year. But if you stick with one team, it makes it a bit more special when you do find a bit. And if you're a lower side, you get more fun out of beating big boys.
this might sound dreadfully unpatriotic, heresy almost, for somebody who works in television, but I would always recommend anybody to go to a live event rather than watch it on the box. I really would. I do.
You see the same faces every week. Like, we know the programme seller, we know the badge seller where we go in, we know the fanzine seller, just to sort of say hello to. The same people sit around us every week. Or you strike up casual conversations with the odd ones that come occasionally. But that becomes part of the ritual in a sense. And you get really disappointed if one of the regulars isn't there. And you know how each of them's going to respond. It's just like banter, that's what it is. And very witty as well. And then when all the away lot get up and start yelling, it's, oi, sit down, calm down, you'll have a heart attack like that. It's that, and I'm sure they can hear him, because the steward will sit down at the front of it in tucks, who'll be out the match. And it's really, really good humoured. It's really warm-hearted. And I would say to anybody who's well, what on earth is it all about? Just get yourself down there and see what it's all about.
I feel very, very sorry for people who don't get enjoyment out of sport. I really do, because they don't know what they're missing.
I can understand why people sometimes get a bit fed up with it, especially nowadays, because when you look at the television coverage now, the media coverage, I mean, it's saturated now, and it must annoy people. I mean, for me, I can't get enough of it.